Good day and welcome. My devotion today is based on Ascension Day and is entitled, Why Not Stay? This was probably inspired by my thinking, why didn't Jesus stay after the resurrection, per se? After the 40 days, why did he not just remain on earth and be the amazing, wonderful God that he is? So, although Jesus was still the same omnipotent God who spoke the world into existence, there was a time during his earthly life and ministry when he chose not to exercise that power. He was still the same omniscient God who alone understands everything without limitation, the same omnipresent God who is present before time, who is and who ever will be after. Yet during his earthly ministry, he chose to voluntarily limit all those godly attributes and be a man. At the resurrection, those self-limitations ended. So why not then stay and continue to reveal himself as fully God here on earth? But obviously there was a purpose. We look at Christ's glorification and exaltation, fulfilled as a human being, so that humanity would have entrance into heaven, and he would begin a new ministry in heaven to stand and represent us before God, the Father. During his ministry on earth, first we see fulfillment of Christ's glorification, where the previous glory of Christ in heaven was dependent upon his person. His crucifixion and resurrection added a new dimension of glory based upon his completed work of dying for us, rising again, and returning to heaven to be our advocate. Secondly, the definition of exaltation in the Oxford Dictionary is the action of elevating someone in rank or power. The resurrection and ascension of Christ was his exaltation. The Apostle Paul said, "Therefore God exalted him in the highest place and gave him the name that is above every name." That's Philippians 2 verse 9. The ascension fulfilled the exaltation of Jesus to the Father's right hand. Thirdly, we look at how a new ministry was begun and how we were now given access, free access to heaven. Jesus had now completed his task of dying for the salvation of the world, and after the ascension, he has taken his place as our intercessor, giving Christians grace. So then when we do sin, Jesus stands as our advocate before God, which is in John 2 verse 1. As such, Christ forgives the sin based on his sacrifice and restores the Christian after he sins. What did the ascension accomplish? The ascension was more than a physical return to heaven. Christ was returning to his former place of authority in heaven. He was reclaiming his former place of glory, and he was beginning a new ministry for believers in heaven. We as Christians are now equipped with tools to live a fulfilled and successful life of service. And these include the sending of the Holy Spirit, the giving of spiritual gifts, the imparting of spiritual gifts, the preparation of our heavenly home, just to name a few. So firstly, the sending of the Holy Spirit, based on John 16 verse 7. Jesus said, "But very truly I tell you, it is for your good that I am going away. Unless I go away, the advocate or the comforter will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you." Today, the Holy Spirit lives in every Christian and helps them live for God. 2, the giving of spiritual gifts. When a person is saved, he not only receives the Holy Spirit, he also receives his spiritual gifts, right? A spiritual gift is an ability to serve God, given initially by Christ. When he ascended on high, he took many captives and gave gifts to his people. Ephesians 4 verse 8. Thus, after a Christian is saved, he must discover his gifts, which helps them to grow. These are the tools that help you to fulfill your mandate as a Christian. The imparting of spiritual power, based on Acts 1 verse 8. On the day of Pentecost, the disciples received the spiritual power to witness. The power was continuously present in their lives as they continued to be filled with the Holy Spirit. This spiritual power is available to every believer today. In the same power God used in the resurrection and ascension of Christ. It is the same power. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witness in Jerusalem and in all of Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. Acts 1 verse 8. Fourth, the preparation of a heavenly home. Christ involves the preparation of heaven for Christians. Jesus said, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you so. I go to prepare a place for you." That's the New King James Version. The NIV says, "My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you?" So remember, I will no longer ask, why couldn't Jesus stay? He needed to ascend so he could be exalted. While on earth, he was a servant, a man. Now in heaven, he is the ruler and the Lord of all. By entering heaven as a representative of mankind, he completed the work of our salvation and guarantees the eventual glorification of all who love him. Shalom, and thank you for listening.